Hi everyone! So first video review for this week is for Wendy of the Wallops by Gill Mcknight. If you want to check out my Goodreads review, I did just post that the other day, so if you're on YouTube there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog then there's a link within the post. And this is a video review. So Wendy of the Wallops by Gill Mcknight is the second book in the Wallops series. The first book is Welcome to the Wallops, and I have read both books when they were previously published, and they have now been, both of them, republished through Dirt Road Books, which I was super excited about. I reread Welcome to the Wallops when it was republished, and now Wendy of the Wallops has also been updated, reissued and republished through Dirt Road Books. So I really enjoyed reading it again. I read it before I started this review channel, so it was just fun times in the Wallops again. So Wendy is the main character in Welcome to the Wallops. In Wendy of the Wallops, and we first met her in Welcome to the Wallops, that's right. And she didn't get much time in the first book. She wasn't sort of a leading character. She was part of a cast in this lovely little village, so it was great for her to have her own story, and she's the local police officer. So in this story, in Wendy of the Wallops, which is basically her story, she has volunteered to ensure the safety of a local girl from the village called Lexi, and she's working on the case. So in an effort to get to the bottom of the case, she has lots of questions, lots of things to explore, lots of things to do, and lots of things to get involved in, which is so lovely for her. So she's doing all that while she's coming to terms with her newly discovered sexuality. She's just come out to her friends in the village, and everything's new, and she's just finding her feet with it all. But that's further complicated when she finds herself surrounded by, pretty literally all the time, Girl Guides volunteer Kira, who is quite the personality, and Wendy finds herself attracted to her, but she's hesitant, and she's worried about how this is all going to be, and she's wary of Kira as well. So I absolutely loved Wendy of the Wallops. I loved it the first time I read it. I loved it now reading it again. It was such fun to be back in the village with all the cast and all the characters, and what a brilliant story. Like I say, we first met Wendy in Welcome to the Wallops. If you haven't read Welcome to the Wallops, it doesn't matter. You can read Wendy of the Wallops standalone, but it will help if you've read the first book, because you'll be more au fait with the cast and the village and what's going on. But it's a standalone story. You can read it completely without having ever been to the Wallops before by reading the first book. But I would definitely recommend it because it sets everything up nicely, and it gives you sort of an introduction to Wendy, and then she's really getting a lot of character development in this second book. So of course there's not only Wendy whose character's developing, we're also we get a glimpse of the characters you met in Welcome to the Wallops. If you've read that, that's nice. You've got some of the sort of returning characters, and they're very much a sort of close-knit community, so they're Wendy's friends. So if you haven't met them in the first book, you'll get enough in this book to understand them. And then I very much connect with Wendy's character. I find her absolutely brilliant. She's easy to empathise with, and everything that she goes through in the story, you really do sort of find yourself empathetic and sympathetic, and you understand. She's really relatable in that respect. And I loved the introduction of Kira, bringing mystery to Wendy's life. She was fun, she was vibrant, she was a little bit cheeky, she was definitely mysterious, and I could totally understand Wendy's hesitance and wariness of her. But she added the needed humour to quite an intense case for Wendy. She was that humorous element to what was, when you've got a police story, you've got slightly darker content, and Kira was like that uplifting bit that added the comedy to this story. So I loved that, and it just added lots of fun to the whole story as well. So I completely understood the hesitancy that Wendy had to trust Kira. I think I would have been really wary of her too. She was a really big personality. She was so full of life, and she was a little bit odd. She was a little bit strange, but she was definitely a lot of fun. And I kept my fingers crossed, because it was so obvious that they had this really good connection, even if Kira sort of rings around Wendy a few times, because Wendy sometimes is so innocent and naive. It's so cute, but they had this great potential and this brilliant connection, so I really was hopeful for them. But I would highly recommend this book. If you want a bit of an adventure with a bit of romance and just the right amount of humour to sort of leave you craving more, Wendy of the Wallops is brilliant for that. And you get that lovely sense of community with the village and the villagers and the story. Everybody sort of comes together, works together and achieves what they need to. So I very much hope there'll be more from the Wallops in future, whether that be from Wendy or the other cast of characters, because it's a really fun place to hang out and I really like it. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Wendy of the Wallops by Gill Mcknight. I really enjoyed it, so I hope you will too. If you've read Wendy of the Wallops, it'd be great to hear what you think of the book. Please comment below, please get involved, and if you haven't read it yet but you're planning to read it, it's on your to be read list, or you're now really intrigued and you're thinking I want to read that, again, comment below because it's always great to hear what you're reading, and if you do read it, I really hope you enjoy it. Bye.